Hello and welcome. You have found your way to Into the Dungeon presents Starfinder. You can catch us live on Twitch Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then on YouTube and Apple, Google, and Spotify podcast Wednesday morning. If you find you are enjoying our show, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share with anyone you think might enjoy what we are doing. Word of mouth is the best way to help us grow and reach new people. We also have a Patreon set up if you would rather support us that way. The link can be found in the description below. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
So, I was giving the recap. So, as part of the recap, we were on the planet of Castrovel, down in our luck with our captain and the rest of our crew. And finally, Captain Jin comes back to the ship, happy because we have work now, apparently. The work we were assigned was to transport some cargo that we're not allowed to look in, and the owner of said cargo, an Isoki by the name of Wretch, and we have to deliver this cargo to the planet of Akaton. We've been informed from Jin's first-hand experience that this person is as disgusting as his name is, and a passenger has gone and taken the liberties to purchase a replacement set of clothing, and we've decided we're going to, in order to cover the sketchy arrangement, we're going to pick up some other job that'll take us off planet that we can use as a bit of a buffer if we get stopped. We've figured out that there's a specific window of time we want to leave because this planet is experiencing a civil war of some variety, where the Formians are coming overhead and blockading and using their satellite ships, and the non-Formians.
Yes. Just for those of you who are tuning in, we are playing Before the Gap. I know that Paizo did not write anything for that, but that is the time period we're playing in because of a previous campaign. So this is, if you read up on Castrovel, they had experienced a civil war between the Formians and the Lashunta.
Oh, I got it right. It was Formians and Lashunta.
You are correct.
Oh, exciting. And so, yeah, we figured out we want to leave sometime, I think, tomorrow. The Wretch is supposed to arrive at our landing area within 48 hours, and we're already like 8 hours into that. Was that what it was, or was it within 24 hours?
It was within the next 24. It's sometime today is when he...
Sometime today. And we're currently all at a cafe, and the name of said cafe I can't remember.
The unarmed pair, I have written down in my notes that he should be arriving sometime around 7:30 a.m. the next day. We're at like 9:30 a.m. this day.
Right. You guys have about a day to do what you need to do on Castrovel.
Okay. Yes. Exciting. That's my recap. That is all I remember. Oh, I hacked our captain's comm unit. That may or may not have just been me getting used to some mechanics.
His personal comm unit, yes.
I like to imagine that you have the mic turned on.
Yeah, he's gone full CIA, FBI on you.
Beep.
Okay.
Thank you, Elvin.
Okay, yeah, that's
if I can add to the recap, Wretch's big thing was that he has a single cargo container, and he told Jin it's worth 100,000 credits. I don't know why he told me that, but he said 5% to take him off planet Hackathon, 5% if we don't ask questions and avoid the authorities. So Jin's big thing was, I have an empty cargo hold. I have 3 empty cargo holds on my freighter. I need to put something in there to hide the fact that there's just a single box that's probably contraband. So that's what we're hoping to achieve. Everyone actually had a round table, and everyone came up with some pretty good ideas for hunting jobs to do and stuff. So that's what we'll be doing today in the game.
I think we were on our way to ttrpg, a corporation, to see if there's some work.
The local offices.
The local offices of ttrpg.
Yes, the name changed.
Yes. Due to copyright.
No, due to an unfortunate corporate incident involving an asteroid mining operation, the company is rebranding.
They sold
Oh,
all of their
capitalism.
assets. Single credit, it went to Tyrkane. Still elves. Yeah. Good times. And we're having breakfast, and Cryptus secretly paid for breakfast because Jin paid with his last credit. I got nothing left.
All right, so
we're
you
eating
guys
breakfast.
are currently at breakfast at the oh crap, what was the name?
Pear.
Unarmed pair?
The unarmed pair, that's right.
Unarmed
Yeah.
pair.
The unarmed pair. And pear is in fruit, that's how it's spelled, not like two people. It's just an unarmed pair.
Patrick is changing it.
Absolutely.
The food place, Patrick. Why would it be not the food?
Yeah.
Because to Jin and Cryptus, who have two sets of arms, as is normal.
Well, looking Game Master, if I look around, is it mostly Lashuntans here? And Lashuntans are multiple armed species, right? Like 4 armed
No.
species.
I mean, they have two, so that is multiple.
No, that's solo. That's singular. They're not a 4 armed species.
Shuntons here. That's the majority of what you see. You'll see the occasional other species at once in a while. But it is not. It's not jam packed full of people. It's pretty empty. You'd see most of the Lashunta you see here will come in wearing some sort of body armor, have a sidearm. They're not heavily armed or heavily armored, but they do wear a little bit. There's a few civilians there that don't have any sort of military garb or anything. They're either older or way too young, or they work there.
I see.
Because remember, this city is considered like at war at all times.
Captain Jin.
Yes, passenger.
One thing I hadn't considered before, I mean, the notion of leaving this planet was delightful. Should we investigate quietly the individual that we will be taking on board? Maybe find out a little bit more about what we're getting into?
We did that, passenger.
Well, I know that
we did that. Yeah, I texted my friend Shurguarde the 8th.
Oh, we did do that.
Runs that bar, yeah.
Well, I meant maybe perhaps in a way with the authorities. Perhaps we check with a bounty office or perhaps even a precinct of some variety and see if this is a wanted individual. Perhaps we could just get the reward if there was one.
If he's wanted, they're gonna know we're involved with him if we ask about him.
Meta question. We've probably done illegal things before. What's a general bounty look like?
Have you done illegal things like bounty before?
No. Jin runs a tight ship, right?
I will say that you haven't, because this game starts when you start doing the interesting stuff.
We've been running like easy missions, mail runs.
But surely they broadcast these things like, Galaxy's Most Wanted, like, hey, if you see this person, there's a...
Oh, absolutely. About as much as they do here in our state.
I pull up my PCU and I quickly flip over to like emergency broadcast channel, because the Lashunta state is at war, so surely there's like some kind of like, hey, we're gonna blast out stuff. Is there anything there?
Yeah, make a computer check.
Ooh. What's my bonus?
Captain, Wretch might not be his real name.
Seems like a perfectly fine name for a Yosoki.
All right, first roll of the session. Okay. I'll take a 19.
You put it in roll 20. All right, so you got a 19. That's a pretty good roll. You look up criminal databases for like who's wanted and lookouts. You don't see anything on Castrovel. for him particularly. Like you see pictures of Yusoki there, but there's nothing. Even in Kabara, the city you're in, there's nothing for him. You can expand your search to see information from other planets, but it could be weeks to months outdated.
No. I flip through, and then I kind of pass my, like a quick little toss of the PCU on the table towards Rima. It's like, there's nothing on the broadband about this Wretch fellow, and I appreciate you looking into this, you worrying about the safety of the crew, but right now I'm worried about more than just who we might be transporting. This is the first job we've had in weeks. There might be a bounty passenger, but on the other hand, there's 5,000 credits in it to not ask that question. And I don't think that this Wretch fellow, just from the look of him, he's probably scared, running scared of the war or something, where he just wants to get back to Akaton where the other Yusoki are. And
if there is a bounty on him, Captain, and it's worth more than we're getting from the job, just turn him in ourselves.
When we get to Akaton, I just want to drop him off wherever he wants to go and be done with him. We made a mistake coming to Castrovel. I've said that. I said that yesterday. I will admit it again. But when we hit Akaton, I want to keep going. I want that ship flying.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we can walk away from wherever we land there, though. If he tries to do some shady shit, like if there's someone there waiting for us to make sure we don't say anything, that's not likely to end well for us.
Scared of a little brawl, Rima?
I will fight you anytime, anywhere, boy.
Not right now. If we have enough space in the cargo hold, maybe. That could be entertaining.
Will we
but
be taking bets
focus. And Rima, no more telling Cryptus that there are ghosts in his room. You know how scared he got.
Look, there actually was one that once. The first time, there actually was one. Every time after that, fine. Yeah, it was just fun.
Wait, there weren't?
Reaction every single time.
Wait, are you telling me there weren't ghosts?
Not after that first time. When we got rid of that
You
first
scared them away.
Captain, permission to fight. Now.
No. Maybe if we find one of the Lashunta's training arenas,
Captain,
and we have
we
time,
should be on
maybe.
our way before they wrestle right here in the bar.
I'm not done with my meal yet. Let me finish my meal.
Get a to-go box. We'll be fine.
So let's go over the day's agenda. So we are going to the Tia's office first. And I believe it was Passenger who mentioned that we could try and inquire if they had any jobs. We'll ask. I'm not hopeful. They are a quite big corporation on their own. So we haven't quite earned that in just yet. But we do need to go there to exchange the money. And remind me, Rima, you had said something about the coroner's office?
Look, Captain, if we gotta do that, fine. But yeah, I mean, there's a war. They're probably shipping people in from all over, and they probably need to ship them out when they get killed.
And apparently she's been making up the ghosts, Captain. I'm not that worried about it.
Problem is, Cryptus, she doesn't make all of them up.
I've only made up like 3. Come on.
Are you guys leaving?
We're waiting for Jin to eat his food.
As I finish up eating, I'll start.
Cryptus, tip the waitress.
How does tipping even work? Like, just swipe?
Same way it works in the real world.
I like to imagine it's like a video game like GTA or whatever, where it's like there's a little dollar sign floating above the table. So if the waitress comes by and swipes, she gets
a little hologram.
I
Yeah.
like to imagine this is a economy that pays its servers an actual
They're at
living
war.
wage.
They're at war.
Lashunta are probably much better at it than most. Let's put it that way, Rima.
Cryptus is a stingy tipper, and 1 credit leaves his bank account.
Okay, so the tier first.
Lashunta looks at you, has a heavy sigh, and walks back into the back of the kitchen. You hear a lot of yelling in Lashunta between two, possibly the manager.
Cryptus, what? Don't tell me.
I tip them appropriately, Captain.
Don't tell me. Okay, we're going to the tier's office first. I'm sure that they're in the swankiest part of the market. And then we're going to go talk to the coroner. And then we're going to go talk to the breweries, right? Was that the idea?
We can talk to the coroner last.
Okay.
I'd really rather that be a last case, like worst case.
Cryptus, do you know anything about the Shovad of Akaton?
I think we rolled last time, but I will roll again if Creed wishes it.
Are we
if you
moving
remember
towards
your roll,
the
you
tier?
use it. If you don't remember your roll, re-roll.
I don't remember, so we will re-roll. Which skill
This is in
this?
regards to the weapons.
I have to see if I'm negative on this is why I'm looking. I'm definitely not positive.
Probably culture. GM?
I have to be trained in culture.
You're not trained in culture? Ugh, you uncultured.
Shocker, I know.
Uncultured bug.
Okay.
You got 4 arms and no culture?
Yeah. Well, I rolled a nat 1 anyway before even figuring out what the skill is. So no, I do not remember.
Know about the Shobat. You know all of it. In fact, you're the expert.
Yeah.
Of course, Captain. I'm an expert in their honor rituals.
You had mentioned something about they might want some Lashunta weaponry.
They love big guns. I know this for a fact.
Big guns. We won't be able to move very many
Or grenades.
of those.
Or small guns. If it shoots, they like it.
Okay. Cryptus or Jin crosses his top arms and he's stroking the face cloth.
Captain, we probably shouldn't try to take weapons from an active war zone.
Buy them.
I have to say I agree with Rima on this one. It might be best
Okay.
if we just go see if we can load up our cargo holds for something in that region of space and head
I
out.
promise you, the Shobad won't like ghosts.
No one likes ghosts.
I thought you liked ghosts.
Stand them.
As Captain Jin finishes up his food, I'll stand and start meticulously straightening the table.
Oh, I thought we were walking away.
Oh.
I
did that and I continued walking with the rest of you. Sorry, I didn't
guys
realize that.
leave. You're in a very large metropolis. How are you getting to? Do you know where the offices are?
I will pull out my PCU and pull up the navigation software for Castrovel, Cabaret, the city, and type in Tir Kene.
It's a couple hours walk, a couple minutes drive. By taxi.
Captain,
We might need a
surely
taxi,
we can hail
guys.
a taxi for this, yes?
More than likely, but I've got the Mirian, but no credits on me. I look at passenger.
I do whatever the colloquially appropriate method of hailing a cab would be. I have some credits. I'll pay for it.
You can either walk up to a local terminal or use your PCU to hail one.
I'll hail one with my PCU.
A small taxi vehicle flies in from overhead and lands nearby. The Lashunton driver gets out and waves you guys down. This
Looks like it's a
Lashunton
credit per
driver, you
table.
notice, is missing a few fingers, and part of his antenna is missing, and the right side of his face is kind of burned.
Zooms. They're a good company. Let's go. I'll just get in and pay for the for however far we're going.
He doesn't speak the Pact Common, the language of trade. He just speaks Lashunton. So if anyone knows Lashunton, that's
I do.
Okay, so you can talk to him.
Yeah.
I also do.
Sorry.
He will tell you that the fare is about 2 credits for this trip.
I pay him 2 credits.
The giant bug man crawls into this taxi cab, sort of crunching in there, squishing passenger against the door.
Turns towards
passenger.
The
is
taxi fare is
uncomfortable.
2 credits, and the waitress or waiter was mad about
Server?
a 1 credit tip.
Yeah, it doesn't even pay the fare to get to work.
That's like half their fare. So from
Yeah.
1 table.
Yeah, credits are interesting because it's like there's no easy way to be like, okay, a credit is $10 or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I also did not find any information on what a good fare is in Starfinder. So
there is actually transportation.
That's fine. We'll get it later.
You were very close.
Rima, did you say that in character or out of character? I can't hear you.
He went silent.
You went silent. Yeah, gone.
I see you clapping at us.
I can hear her from the other room.
Translate for us. What is she saying from the other room?
So, well, she's the deaf one, not you. But Creed, yeah, there's transportation,
Testing.
professional services.
Well, this one is 2 credits.
Understood.
That's pretty much right on par. It's 1 per 10 miles for a robo taxi. That seems to track.
Okay, so he's just kind of ripping you off, because this is not very far. It's definitely not 10 miles.
The Tia Kene offices, please.
He just stares at you.
Here,
I don't think he speaks Pact.
I speak Lashunton.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And
okay.
With the whole small vehicle kind of lifting off and leaning to one side, whichever side Cryptus is on, it takes off in location. It goes up into, there's a big tier, the tier building, tier Kennedy
as
building.
We're leaning to one side,
and you
Star Trek, come on, lean to one side.
fly up and go into the upper floor parking deck. You land.
All right, so
and you're in sort of like a aerodrome for the personally owned vehicles.
It's probably going to be easy to find a kiosk or someone to exchange this. And I pull out the zip stick with the half Mirian on it. Probably be easy to find someone to exchange this credits for us, but for looking for work, we might need to keep an eye out for any kind of job boards or hollow postings or any kind of contractors for hire area or something like that. So keep an eye out, everyone.
Well, surely there's a. So I would. Do we see a directory or anything? I would want to look for like a contractor.
Yep, there is a big screen near the entrance, and it has like a little ad for Tirkene wine, actually. And there is a. And if you go up and touch it, it'll switch to a menu.
I'll go up to it and attempt to find like a contractor services option.
Captain, are you drinking?
Mm-hmm. What? He hides his flask. What?
He has 3 arms out, all empty. The 4th one is behind his back. Passenger, as you look through, you do find a sort of like a banking service. You find consulting services, and you find like a contractor services floor. They're on various floors of this arcology building.
Captain, if you prefer, I will go and see if I can get us work off planet. And if you want to go trade the Mirian, we can meet back here. Say an hour.
Okay, take Rima with you. Rima, you're good at making sure we don't get ripped off.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
stay with him. Cryptus, you're with me.
Yes, Captain.
Aye.
And if it's taking long, say longer than 20 standard, then just message us.
Done.
All right. So who do we want to do first? You guys are splitting the party. So which group do we want to follow?
Either's fine.
Rock, paper, scissors?
I feel like the banking stuff will go faster.
Yep, banking stuff. Let's do that first. So
You win by default, Jin.
As usual.
Captain Jen, let's go. So you you go into this main lobby area. A virtual intelligence hologram greets you and says, "Oh, Tier Tangier,
If I can stop you, first because you used the wrong name, but second, I wanted to role play with Cryptus. As we're walking away from the group,
sessions to get used to that.
Because Jin hasn't had a chance to really talk with Cryptus since we got the mission. I just want to be like, so Cryptus, going to Akaton, and I think yesterday you had mentioned you're not worried about fights or brawls or any of the threat that planet holds for us, but what do you think about the fact that all of us will be there and, Passenger and Rima, I don't think they've been there before. They could be kind of out of their depth.
Cryptus, believing he knows a lot about the Shobat of Akaton, they respect strength, Captain, and those two are overconfident. Yes, the little dog thinks she can wrestle me. Can you believe the madness of it? It's disgraceful.
Cryptus, I don't think Rima was talking about wrestling you. I've seen some things.
Well, the Shobat will respect her ill-informed aggressiveness.
And are you okay with leaving Castrovel?
Yes, I feel the call to help my kindred people here, but better for us to be off before I go gallivanting with the Fomorians.
Okay. Well, if you ever need to talk, or you ever have any concerns or anything, it could be a long drive. That's probably not the right word. That's not the word that a space captain would use. Could be a long haul.
I mean, Kirk said
So, Cryptus puts his hands on your shoulders and says, Captain, I'm sensing insecurity. The Shobat will not respect that. Are you all right?
I'm anxious. I don't want Akaton to turn into another Castrovel. I know Castrovel is in the midst of a war, but honestly, I think Akaton could be more dangerous for us if we get moored there.
The chances of us starting a civil war between the Ysoki and Shobat are slim.
No, yeah. Thank you, Cryptus. That's what I was worried about. And he kind of pats Cryptus on that giant, oversized arm. He's like, I think I see the GM. What do I see in front of me?
You guys, during your conversation, you guys walked straight by that hologram. You guys found the lift, got on it, and had your conversation on the lift. Doors open, and you walk out, and you're on the floor for the banking area. And you see a few lines to a few terminals, and you take the shortest line. And there's nobody at this terminal. It's just basically a screen computer kiosk.
Okay.
And there's a place to plug in your Miriam. All right, and it takes you through a few screens where you put in your credit information and you watch it as it transfers over. The numbers go. Brrr.
Yeah, I hold up my PCU to it and I went.
Yep, and you would now transfer the half a Miriam into 5,000 credits.
Yes. And I look at it, I'm like, I could have sworn they would have charged us more for converting that. All right, Cryptus, let's go back to the shuttle. Anything you want to investigate?
No, money mancers make me nervous, Captain.
Sorry,
the wizardry.
Catch that. Could you please repeat it?
Sorry, my PCU was. Let me
We
turn
are
that off.
Is that
professional
passenger?
Walk away from the
operations
kiosk.
here, sir.
Nope, that's fine. Thank you. You've done well.
Yes, the money mancers make me nervous. The magic of economics. Let's go back to the ship.
Mancers.
As we're walking through, I want to kind of like look around. Actually, probably more accurately, when we're back in the elevator, does it have like floor labels, or does it just say floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, etc.?
Oh well, there's like a big screen. Like you can have it set to just floors, but if you swipe right, it'll give you like the full floor label. What are you looking for?
It's funny because I know what the tiers subsidiaries are, and I don't have enough money. Jin just tells it to go to the aerodrome.
You really don't.
Take us back to the shuttle. I think we're done.
All right. So passenger in Rima, you guys do the same thing. You walk in. You see.
So passenger.
Oh, yes, Rima.
I know that Captain did a quick search for Wretch at the breakfast spot, but when we get back to the ship, could you maybe look a little deeper on him? Maybe see what the other planets and systems have to show?
I suppose I could do that, yes, although I suppose there is risk that that might constitute asking questions.
Justin, you are a little quiet on our end.
That might constitute asking questions, but I suppose
We're not asking anything about the crate. We're looking into him.
Seems like a reasonable enough suggestion.
I wanna make sure he's not gonna try anything.
When we return to the ship,
if you find something, I want to make sure we can
when
be
we
ready
return
for
to
it.
the ship, I will consult with the captain and make sure it is appropriate. But I think it's a good idea, and I will support you in that request.
Thank you.
Were you really going to wrestle the bug inside of a cafe?
I said I'd fight him. I didn't say wrestle.
I would have put my money on you.
Uh-huh.
I assume that the lift pops open at about that spot?
Yeah, you guys walked by and didn't hear the same VI hologram giving out to your Kenny advertisements and things like that, and just basic news blurbs. You guys pop out on it's more of like an office setting, and it has like a sign that has each like label on the sign has a line on the wall to help guide you to the specific location. That since this is a contractor area, some of things are for on planet and off planet, and within city. So you guys follow the green line that takes you to the off planet offices. I would assume. I'm not gonna make you guys do anything you don't want to do.
That makes sense.
Okay, so you guys head there, and you are greeted by a Lashunta woman at a desk, and she says, "Okay, please have a seat. Can I take your name?" And she's looking at you, Rima, not at passenger.
I make it very obvious that I'm about to speak to her telepathically, because sometimes people might freak out about that. And then
she connects to you immediately.
Oh, hey. I'm Rima. This is Passenger. We represent the Jolin, captained by Jin. Last name not Urso.
Are you guys sticking with the Jolin name? That was just the name from the site that I got.
That's the current name. We haven't
until we can repaint it. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. We're trying to head off world here soon. We're hoping there's some cargo that might need to get.
She turns and and a hologram screen comes up, and she starts moving things around, typing things in, and without using sound, she just telepathically tells you, it looks like you haven't registered with us yet. We'll need to do an inspection of the ship and get it fully registered to do any sort of hauling for us. But that should allow you to get past any sort of, let's say, political actors that have a deal with us that won't take you down, and namely some of the political actors on this planet.
Right.
But
how long does it take to set that up?
Well, the application fee is about 1,000 credits. And then we will need to get the team down there to your ship to do the inspection and make sure it's meeting our standards. And then we can start signing you up for missions to haul.
Well, I appreciate you letting us know that. I'm not sure we're going to be able to, we were hoping to leave within the next couple days. That sounds like a pretty lengthy process.
It takes about a week to a month, Castrovel time. Right.
Alrighty. Well, sorry to bother you.
I'm not bothered. I work here.
We'll definitely check back in at some point, but thank you.
Soon. I will go ahead and put your names down as acquaintances of the tier.
Having not been connected to that interaction and being very bad at picking up on social cues as an android, I'm going to see this Lashunta.
I would assume that she'd be speaking aloud also.
Was she?
The Lashuntan was not. She was not speaking aloud. You may have been, just to give Passenger like the other half of the conversation, but she absolutely was not. She has paid him no mind, period.
Okay.
I would speak up. So you're putting our names down. Where are we picking up the cargo?
You didn't hear her say that she's putting her names down.
He was able to watch her like list out the names.
Yes, clearly, and I speak to you telepathically. Clearly, she's jotted our names down for cargo.
We're not going to be taking anything this trip, though. The process to get us set up in their system it's going to be too long.
She turns to you, Rima, and she says, "Well, your android is named Passenger is correct. We're just taking names down just so you visited today. We have documentation of that, but we hope you come back for an actual job."
Thank you. Same here.
My name is Vamal, by the way.
Vamal. Nice to meet you.
You gotta shake her hand.
Pleasure. She does not shake your hand.
I stand there and continue holding out my hand.
Passenger.
And she just kind of, okay, like this is really weird. Like she just doesn't understand why an android would want to shake her hand, but it's like, all right.
When I grasp, I shake very slowly. Like it's almost awkward. It's like this. It's this kind of emotion.
Very robotic, like
not quite robotic. It's just, and it goes on longer than it should. And then I just let go, and I'm like, we will be back. Perhaps.
And she just says out loud, "Okay, excellent."
And well, I guess we head back.
Yeah.
We're leaving.
All right, so you guys turn, you leave. Where is everyone headed?
Back to the place the taxi dropped us off, because we're gonna hail another taxi, I guess.
And on our way, taking the elevator or whatever back up, I text the captain, let him know that this isn't gonna. We're not getting a job from him right now. Process takes too long.
1,000 credits.
And a week to a month long vetting process.
That could be worth it, Cryptus. Jin says with absolutely no explanation. What's this PC?
Whatever you say, Captain.
I knew you were going to say that. Perfect.
Oh, I see Rima and Passenger now getting off the elevator. Good.
Oh, joy.
Over here.
You guys meet.
How'd things go?
Poorly.
What she said.
They the woman we were speaking with didn't really treat Passenger like he was even really there. And
I meta. I want to say something right now because I think it would be interesting, but I kind of want it to be in Justin's control. Justin, have you felt that way from all the Lashunta on Castrovel so far?
Dungeon Master or Game Master, have I felt that way so far? Have I felt? Is that something I've experienced from other Lashuntans on Castrovel? That the standoffish confusion
that was the first one.
That was the first one. Interesting. What were you putting in my hands there, Captain?
Oh no, I'm just saying. I'm sorry that happened, Passenger.
Perhaps she was having a bad day.
Yes, that could certainly be it. I was hoping more to get your impression of how they treat their contractors, paying this 1,000 and getting vetted, etc. Did you pick anything up like that, Rima?
no, because it wasn't worth asking about if we'd have to hang out for more than a week to even get a job.
True.
I mean,
well,
we're gonna have to leave, so.
The tier are just like all the other megacorps. I mean, they're everywhere. Even the Adari has megacorp offices on it now. So that's certainly something we can look into in the future.
Creed.
Well,
yes.
We got our money. We need to fill our card.
Sorry, Patrick. It's basically an insight check, but I guess it's sense motive. Would you be okay, since we're getting used to a new system, and me kind of retroactively just rolling so that I know in where I am now, like not go back in time. I just want to know, thinking back on it, what I would have thought of that interaction from a sense motive perspective.
Sure. I still need to write it. I keep forgetting that's the thing. I was more worried about getting you guys like certain ship stats and stuff today, but we can count that as one of those destiny chips. That is one thing you can do if you'd like to go back and roll that.
Oh, okay. It's not worth that much to me. I'll not for something so simple.
Right. So what you, Justin, felt from that Lashunta is what you got. So.
Fair enough. Well, I guess I was mostly curious about whether or not. Nah, never mind. We're good. Same page.
Same page. All right. So you guys, do you hail another taxi?
Absolutely.
All right. So after all this time and travel, you guys hail another one. It's actually the same guy. Comes back, tilt on his little taxi car. It's gotten to be about 1200, about 12. It's about noonish for Castrovel.
This time, we tell the taxi to take us to. I could have sworn we were talking about like specific kinds of alcohol last session. Does anyone remember?
You can talk about it now.
I remember.
Breweries.
Well, Captain, I remember they said. I think we decided they liked cheese.
Passenger, we need to talk about stereotypes at some point.
I wasn't my suggestion. It was Rima's, if I recall.
We need to talk about Rima.
Was it? I had the dead bodies, dude. I don't think the cheese was on me.
Well, either way.
I'm going to go ahead and say that we were talking about Lashunta tequila, a type of agave plant that grows on Castrovel. We were like, oh yeah, the Yusoki would love that.
It produces a lovely orange flower, this plant.
Riftus mutters under his breath, they probably like cheese too.
So I asked him to take us to
he was about to
some
ask.
kind of tequila brewery or distillery. I'm not sure which is the correct term.
on his little really dirty dashboard. That's like, it's not like dirty as in gross, but it's like really dusty. He swipes and stuff, and he pulls up a list of a bunch of different locations you can go to.
I want to do a quick search and see if I can like parse which one has like the best reviews or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make you do a check for that. You just sort by review.
Okay. And I say, oh, this one, the
Zemofil.
Yeah.
Zemofyl. Zemofil.
Zemofil.
It's just the name of the brand.
I heard Zima.
Zemofil.
Zemo.
That's how it's spelled. Yeah, Zemo.
Okay.
We need to move away from Disney things right now, Ashley. So
I said Zima. Like the alcohol Zima. That was a thing.
Over my
I
head.
don't know what that is. Yeah, that's.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm stupid.
I don't know.
It was a thing. We shouldn't name alcohol it because it was a thing.
Oh.
Well, Zemofil is a brand for La Junta tequila. So that's where he's going to take us.
All right, so he takes you down to. Do you want to go to like just like a bar that sells it, or do you want to go to like the actual brewery?
We need the brewery.
Yeah, I think we were talking about how like you need to go to the breweries themselves because
we
they were
gonna get,
like
kegs of it basically.
because Remo talked to Sure Gardet, I think, and it was like, oh yeah, you got to go to the breweries themselves. They contract directly or whatever. So that's what we wanted to do.
Hellowing knows what you're talking about, Ashley.
Thank you.
Hey, Justin.
I'm sorry. I don't drink, so I don't know these things.
Justin, is Passenger visibly android?
Yeah, he's humanoid, but he's got some elements to his skin that would be tells for sure. Like imagine like little cybernetic like circuitry.
Little glowy bits.
Yeah, little glowy bits.
All right, so you guys head over to the Zemofil.
Not to mention lightly blued skin.
Zemofil Brewery. You guys are dropped off at the front. I assume you head into the office, the front desk.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Now this place isn't like as nice as the last office you just visited. This is very much like a warehouse type location. So you're walking into the warehouse itself, and there's like a small desk with like a little terminal and a Lashuntan there, a Lashuntan man. He's actually kind of fat. You can tell he just sits down all day at work, doesn't probably take much care of himself, but he sits there and come on over, waves you over, speaking Lashuntan.
Jin is gonna be as pleasant and personable as he possibly can. He's going to be like, my friends, this is the distillery. Perfection. Absolute perfection. And like all four arms are doing the whole perfection.
That's a funny image.
I've got to say, your spirits have raised our spirits.
Wait, are we
raising spirits?
Are we raising spirits, Captain?
Shut up. Shut up.
Great. What's your name?
My name is Jin Hyasu. What is your name, my friend?
My name is Tivis.
Tivis?
Tivis.
What does Tivis look like?
Like I said, he's a fat Lashuntan. He looks like he doesn't take care of himself. He's got like, I guess you could say like he's got some pretty bad, like, how do I put it without being like really mean? It's not acne, but he's got like a lot of bumps on his face that aren't normally there. Yeah, he just doesn't look like he takes care of himself, and he looks like he probably has the Lashuntan equivalent of liver problems because he works at the distillery and drinks a whole lot. Like he's got a cup of like some of their liquor there.
But this place had the most reviews?
Drinks straight out of the bottle.
This is where our driver took us.
Yeah, the warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tibbis, I have a cargo ship, and I want to take as much of your spirits as possible. How much?
Cryptus looks nervous again when you use that word, but he like bites his.
He coughs. Oh yeah. What kind of vessel is it? And he pulls up his and he looks at you like he's getting ready to type something in.
Do you mean what classification we are? We're I think it's a Clydesdale freighter.
Yeah. And he puts it in, and he. Are you at the spaceport here? I take it.
Yeah, we're over at it's
The docks.
Dock 14B. We're next to the bulk freighter and the emergency response.
All right. Yeah. We can get you loaded up. How much can you take?
Well, I believe our capacity is somewhere in the realm of 2,000 to 3,000 bulk, but right now I've got about 3,500 credits I'm willing to spend. Obviously, I can't fill my ship, but what do you say?
How much bulk are you willing to take? And then I can tell you what the deposit is, and then we'll get your information in case you lose the shipment. Where are you planning on taking it as well?
You know, we have some business to attend. We've recently come into a good windfall. And at this point, Jin starts lying through his teeth. So I don't know if you want to roll.
Patrick, I think your mic is weird.
You conked out there.
Testing.
Yeah,
okay, so Jin starts lying through his teeth. So I don't know if you want me to do a bluff check or not.
Well, what's the lie?
And so he's going to say that the lie is that he came into money from his family and that his crew all have personal issues to attend to. So the ship is going to do kind of like a tour, hitting the diaspora, hitting the Adari, and then hitting Triaxis.
And he perks up and says, "Oh, you're gonna hit Triaxis. All right. Good. All right. Well, I'm gonna need some identification, and yeah.
Well, look, I might be able to sell this on the Adari. I mean, I am Kasathan, and I've got to say, I've never felt a response quite like your tequila. Is that right? Is that what it's called?
I believe that's a classification of some of our products. Yes.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And when I start talking, see, I'm connected with some pretty influential people on the Adari, and I'm certain I could probably unload the entire cargo there.
I'll stop you there.
But...
So he's been drinking right in front of you.
Okay, good.
I want you to go ahead and make a bluff check. I imagine it's not going to be that difficult.
You're overselling it, Captain.
All right. I've got +9 to this.
Go ahead.
18.
18 with a roll of 9. You do succeed. He goes, "Oh, yeah, that's really cool. So I just need your information, and I just need to know how much bulk of it you're taking, and then I can get you the deposit amount, and we can go from there."
Okay, Jin's gonna work up the nitty-gritty. Then he's gonna give his full information, like his real information, the ship, the dock, the berth, everything like that, and he's going to spend 3,500 credits.
Okay,
no more.
That will well enough cover the deposit. He informs you if you are selling on Triaxis, they have an office, they have their own like stuff there, and they can refund you the deposit on Triaxis. However, he can't guarantee that on Idari. Just FYI.
How much is the deposit? Would you say like 500, 1,000?
It's what you just paid. Like it's the safety. Like if you lose the shipment, they keep your money. If you deliver it, you get a cut and your deposit back because they're going to sell that product and make money off the product. And really, you get a cut of that when you successfully deliver, which is why you would make it. They're not going to take your deposit and then keep it forever if you successfully deliver. It's
Okay,
just
so
you're a freelancer. It's just a safety precaution moving forward.
So I want to make sure I understand what Jin's doing. Like if he loads, like if I have 3,500 credits, I want to buy 100 bulk of tequila. I don't know if that's the correct conversion rate, but just as like as an example, if I go to the Adari as an example, and I want to sell that 100 bulk, and I'm able to sell it for like 6,000 credits or whatever, I'm good. But what he wants me to do is to just take a shipment of tequila to Triaxis.
Yeah, and
is
you
that
get
correct?
Back, and then like a cut, like a 10% cut on however much you're taking.
Okay.
That's what he was assuming you were doing.
I want to bring him back then, because I think Jin would understand this. Jin is pretty well skilled in the arts of culture, diplomacy, bluff, etc. So he would start bringing him back. He's like, look, man, I know you want me to go to Triaxis, but I'm telling you, if I could sell it on the Adari, let me buy it from you directly. You go ahead and get your money. I'm going to take it to the Adari. I'll take all the risk on, and I'll try to get my profit back. What do you say?
All right. So how much bulk do you want to carry of this?
Do you have a price on the bulk? Like what's the bulk?
Well,
Yeah.
let me hear bulk. I imagine 10 servings of each is one bulk. So if you're gonna do 100 servings, you're gonna take up 10 bulk, because I imagine a bottle is gonna count as an L. So
it's not super important. We absolutely do not need to get into these numbers, and that thing you had mentioned in the private chat about the supplement that's coming out will probably explain this further in detail. But right now, there's no hard number on what our max capacity for cargo is. There's just a single line that says a 5 by 5 by 5 foot square can hold 20 bulk.
Right.
So looking at our cargo holds,
buy 100 bulk, which is about 1,000 bottles. He's gonna say you don't need to spend 3,500 if that's what you're gonna do. He will tell you just drop us 1,500 for now. That will purchase the bulk, and you will be set to go sell that on Adari. And he says, like, look, we don't have a whole lot on Adari. What you make is what you make. If you make a loss, that's not on us.
Okay. Perfect. Can I make a diplomacy or bluff roll to try and haggle that 1,500 for 100?
You absolutely may. Again, he's kind of drunk.
Perfect. Diplomacy, I'm only at +7. Bluff, I'm a +9. What do you want?
You're not lying.
Okay.
So we'll do diplomacy.
11.
Pushing your luck.
He looks at it. He looks at the screen. He goes, I can't change this number. You have to.
I like to imagine me. He's like poking it. He's like, I can't make a change.
I can't change the number.
Perfect. 1,500 credits, 100 bulk, 1,000 bottles of tequila. Deliver them to my ship. When can you get them there?
Let's see. It's before 1,400. We can have it there by 1,800.
Perfect. My friend, you have a deal. And Jen holds out his hand.
And he gives you a wet, clammy handshake.
I shake it.
All right.
Perfect.
He's like, all right, we'll see. And he takes another swig and sets it down really hard.
Perfect. All right. As we walk out, I'm like, we're just filling the cargo hold. We're just filling the cargo hold. Kind of like disinfect my hand and like, wipe it off.
So Cryptus mutters as we're leaving, probably shouldn't get weapons now, Captain, on account of, the fragile bottles. Don't want an accident in the cargo hold.
The ship has an armory and it's empty. You've been bothering me about the empty armory for years now, Cryptus. I'm sure if we can find some weapons, we could just store them in the armory.
It breaks my insectoid heart to put weapons in the armory and then give them away, but all right.
So we have 2,000 credits left we could spend on cargo. There are some emergency supplies and some food supplies that I want to buy. But if anyone has any other ideas for cargo, I'm willing to explore. Thoughts?
We definitely want to spend money on those emergency supplies, Captain. You know how it is when the ship goes down and you don't have any food. You have to find other food.
You gotta eat your bug friends first, man.
Well, unfortunately, Passenger's probably not that tasty, so maybe it's Valaka steaks.
Nah, just a little bit of butter. We'll cook up fine.
Captain, we need emergency supplies.
Yeah, Cap, that's a good idea.
It would be good. Our previous emergency supplies went bad. And Jin is like lying poorly right now. He's not doing a good job of lying. So he's like, yeah, I want to stop by a Space Mart and buy up our more emergency supplies for sure.
All right.
So since we got some liquor to sell, we're nixing the hearse idea, right? Right, Cap?
Right, Captain? Please, Captain?
Jin looks at Rima and he's kind of like, it's a kind of compassionate look, and he's like, okay, Rima, if you say so, we'll nix the cadavers idea. And he turns around, and I want to imagine that Passenger is the only one who sees Jin just be like, oh, thank God.
All right, so you guys, that same taxi is waiting for you. He's making a killing off for you guys today.
Yeah. Jin's gonna be like, my friend, I see we're keeping you busy today.
Oh, yes. Do you have anywhere else you need to go? And he will take you to that market. For brevity, this is more of like a supermarket setting. Not going to be a whole. I mean, unless you really want to role play with like just random workers there, we can kind of breeze past that and just get what you need to get.
Emergency supplies and a month's worth of food for 5 kith. And I've worked out the math already. I actually put it in the Discord.
I think I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, so instead of... I had mentioned that an emergency raft might be good to have just on hand, but that's 350 credits. We're nixing that. So for a... Let's see... That's 602.
Bear in mind,
plus
you do have 2 escape pods.
For 1,052 credits.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, 1,052 credits. I'm going to buy all the emergency supplies except for the emergency raft and a month's worth of poor meals. 3 per day per 5 people for a month.
All right. So you guys spend a few hours getting that together. You purchase it. You leave. You actually have to call back that taxi. He comes back. He gets you. He gave you his personal number and all that. Now what? Now what do you have?
What's his name so that we know what to save the number as?
I don't think I told you his name. Is that correct? I want to make sure I'm not going to just pull the wrong name out.
Nope, he's just a random taxi dude.
Vamal, the taxi driver. Where did you guys want to go next?
We headed back to the ship, Captain.
All right, so it's getting a little late. When you guys do arrive back at the ship, the pallets of the drinks, of the beverages, have been placed at the dock area for you. You guys take a jack, and I assume you load it. What do you do?
We don't have a jack.
Checked in.
But we have a Cryptus, so
I don't respond to Rima, but I do look to Captain Jin.
And I give him a nod. I'm like, yeah, get those on board. I look
like
at
stretches all 4 arms.
The pallet. Is this the food or what?
I assume you guys brought the food, went and purchased it, and brought it with you. So you guys have like a ton of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's a bunch of food. So is this pallet the liquor?
The liquor, yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. I tell him to bring it on board, and I look to Passenger Reem and I say, meet me in operations. We have some we just gotta like handle the logistics of all of this. And as I say all of this, I'm like pointing to like all the stuff we just bought.
Yes, sir. I make my way into logistics.
I'd load it up. Get my workout in.
Do they need anyone to sign for the booze before they leave?
No, they just left it at your ship. So
Cool.
all right. So as you guys are loading up stuff, Rima, I need you to make a fortitude save.
Fortitude?
Oh.
I almost said constitution.
Okay, that's
It's the top left underneath your health and then your armor class.
yeah, I didn't write that down. I don't know why. I rolled a 9.
So
I don't.
what's your constitution plus?
That's my plus. It's a 10. I don't know what the plus is. I am so sorry.
I think 10 is a 0, so I think you have a base of 2. So you got a +2 to this most likely.
Okay, so that's an 11.
An 11? Okay, you failed. But what happens is, as everyone's loading things up, this is getting late into the evening. Of course, it's getting dark outside. The power goes out. The shield comes up. You smell something so rancid. It's not like a body odor smell, but you like feel it in the back of your throat. Back of your nose, and stings. And everyone kind of sees Rima just throw up. You are considered flat-footed until the smell goes away.
Captain, I think our guest
Rima.
is here.
Are you okay? Like Jin is there. He's like, he doesn't like, there's no hair to hold back or whatever, but he's like, one hand is patting Rima's back, one hand is like trying to hold back her fur, one hand's gesturing to passenger like, hey, bring me a rag. And he's like, Rima, are you okay?
You can't smell that. I think our friend is here.
Is everyone else on the loading deck area? I think everyone, and I think passenger, you can decide to take this. But Cryptus and Captain Jin do have to make the same Constitution saving throw.
No, I went to the logistics place.
Okay, so I think you left.
Okay. A con save. Perfect.
A fortitude save.
Fortitude save. Perfect. I have no modifier to that roll.
23. 18 plus 5.
That one.
Cryptus.
There's Patrick.
You don't.
There he is.
Natty one.
Doing everything to avoid dice rolls.
Cryptus, you smell something. You pay it no mind. Captain Jin, I was gonna give you some bonuses because you're technically Kasathans wear a mask all the time, but that did not matter. You actually have to take your mask off in order to like properly vomit. And you look out towards the entrance of this dock area, and you see this same Yusoki, Wretch. His hair is all matted. He's like missing. He's got a bite out of one of his ears. His clothes look like they haven't been washed in months, and there is a Foot Locker sized like safe floating next to him on like a little grab jack.
Okay. And what time of day did you say it was? I'm sorry.
This is actually late. He's way early.
Cryptus.
I would like to imagine we were like walking up the stairs in room 4 to get to room 4, and I just kind of like lean over and look down like.
Hey, Captain Jin, are you there?
Yes. Gods.
Wretch, you're Wretch, right?
Get out of my
I'm not in your face. I'm over here, but you got anything you don't want getting wet? Anything on you don't want getting wet?
What do you mean? Why would I be getting wet?
Cryptus!
Cryptus walks up and he's like, "We give complimentary baths on the ship, courtesy of the captain."
Wait, that wasn't a... You guys give complimentary baths?
Yeah.
Yes!
You want it out here or inside?
Out here!
Who's in about 12 months? It's been fun.
Just
all right.
Point of order. Passenger is comfortably making tea. And totally
Passenger, I need you.
He can't hear you over the sound of like tea pouring into a cup.
So,
my phone, and I'm like, passenger, get the fuck down here.
So Cryptus starts delicately, like he gets the hose and he starts bathing this Yusoki very delicately.
Back roll.
Huh?
Make an attack roll.
Oh God. Is this a ranged weapon?
Yeah, this is a ranged weapon. You went
Nat 20.
Are they still outside? Or like outside the ship?
Yeah.
Okay.
10.
We did warn him.
All right, so what was the roll?
10.
Okay. The bare minimum. He's not wearing any armor or anything, and he's not So he turns and he doesn't notice you had a hose, and he just gets black. You get him right in the face. He goes, he's like not liking that it's freezing cold water. He thought he was going to get an actual shower.
This, make it warm.
The smell goes away. You kind of see a lot of like dust. Like the water, when it hits him, the water turns brown as it washes out through the cargo bay.
Jesus.
We
need to figure out what god Pisothans worship.
And after you're done, he pulls out his PCU and like taps it. It's not working, and he drops it. What the fuck, man? What is your problem?
Cryptus doesn't seem condescending at all. Like he's like just flat baseline. Says, "We bought a suit for you. Come, I'll get you dried off, and we'll get you your cool suit."
I need a new PCU.
We'll worry about that later.
Just come aboard, Wretch. Come aboard.
As they start to come aboard, I'll be staying. At this point, having gotten the "Where the fuck are you?" text message, I'll be standing there and just a total look of just disgust on the face. And
an android who normally has a flat affect has a look of disgust.
Yeah, exactly.
Vomit everywhere.
Yeah, it's awful. And I'm just I'll look at Captain Jen as you're coming up and I'll say, "Told you he would bathe."
As Cryptus walks by, he shouts to passenger, "Can you provide complimentary repair service?" And I kind of like point with my lower hands towards the PCU on the ground.
Yes, passenger, his PCU. Meet me in operations. I'll get that repaired.
The smell is mostly gone. It's bearable at this point.
Sorry about that, Wretch. I tried to warn you. You needed a bath. Bad.
Why was this a point of conversation before I got here?
Wretch.
What?
Welcome to the Joe Lynn. Now that Jim like composed himself, he's like
shaking off all the water.
Yeah. I apologize. The previous passengers, and at this point he's bluffing. He's like, the previous passengers we had on board were infected with space lice. It was terrible. It took us weeks to burn them out of every nook and cranny.
Oh, then we might have a problem. Do you guys have any of the special shampoo?
Cryptus, spray him again.
Yes, the water is connected to a tank. It's absolutely. We'll take care of that.
Passenger, can you go get some soap?
Passenger, can we take care of that space lice?
So hearing that engagement, you just see passenger hit buttons on the wall and the door starts to close.
With him on the other side?
Yeah, with all of you as far as I'm concerned.
And you hear as the door locks.
Passenger, get the shampoo.
One moment, I will bring it to you.
I text passenger and some what's the guys use the little like hair shaving thing.
Clippers?
Yeah, the electric ones.
Yeah.
There's a word.
So
yeah.
the door has shut unless somebody actually tried to stop me from doing that. That was definitely in character.
Get the shampoo, Jen.
So I get it. I like to imagine that a lot of my movements are more like the android from Prometheus and that newer Alien movie, and less Data-like.
Right.
Fassbender.
Yeah, very Fassbender. So I don't really move with a sense of extreme urgency, but I make my way over. I grab the shampoo from when we needed it last time, and come back over and just lower the door. And I set it on the gangplank so that it just lowers down with it.
Oh, you guys are offering haircuts too? And he like takes off his.
Nope. This is for me.
Yes, Rima, do it now. Perfect. Cryptus,
like little
put up a privacy screen. We don't want anyone seeing this. Passenger, take his PCU up to operations, get it repaired, and Jen winks at Passenger. Passenger, you pick up on the wink?
I was already planning to, so yes.
Okay, good. And then Jen walks over to Wretch. Now that he's been bathed like twice, I think.
I think you guys do give him a proper bath, and you give him a nice suit.
Oh, I just want you all to have this image of Cryptus with his forearms, has like 2 towels, and like pats down carefully Wretch.
All right, excellent.
Rima's also going to shave herself, just to make sure she doesn't get infected with the lice.
To the Jolin.
Well, Captain Jin, I'm sorry I'm a little early.
Is there a problem?
Not anymore. It was. I'm safe now. Let's put it that way.
Of course, you're aboard
talk
the
to you
Jolin.
in private for a minute.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like a briefing room or something fancy like you got in this fancy old ship.
Sure, we'll go up to the galley. We'll be alone there. Everyone else has their duties to attend to.
Excellent.
Captain,
Yes,
where do you want the floating box?
Go ahead and take his box to the deck 2 aft cargo holds. Once we get the other cargo loads, once you get those on board, go ahead and hide his amongst them.
Aye.
And Jin kind of like looks at Wretch to be like, hiding the box amongst other boxes? Do you think that's a good idea, Wretch?
I think here on this planet, that's a really good idea. However, once we leave, it's probably fine. It's probably fine.
I have no questions, my friend.
Good. I have more credits for no questions.
All right, so Jin and Wretch, we head up to the galley while everyone else is doing everything they're doing.
All right, so Cryptus, as you load all of everything that you guys purchased today onto the ship, you get to the little black box that's on a grav lift. It stays pretty light. It has a little button on it to deactivate the grav lift, so it'll like set on the ground. Even when you turn it off, it's heavy like a safe would be, but it's not gonna like break your arms or anything. It has a lot of weight to it. There's definitely a pretty hefty lock on it, and it's got a little computer panel to put in like a code, and it's beeping and kind of has a little green light that goes off. But there's also like a screen that has like a bunch of lines going up and down like this, and then it like settles out, and then it goes really crazy for a second and then settles. So it doesn't mean anything to you. It basically would only mean something to the person who knows what's in this.
Yeah.
So the next person I was going to talk to is not on screen. So
he's in the bathroom.
Passenger, what are you guys doing?
Oh, Rima's shaving herself. She's gotten lice before. She's, covered in fur. Like, she's not going through it again. That ain't happening. She's taking every precaution.
Okay. So Rima is getting prepared for a hot climate. A very hot planet. Passenger, You have finished your tea.
Well, at this point, I would have finished the tea and I probably would have collected. I would have used like some degree of like handkerchief to pick up the PCU off the ground, and would have taken it into probably the science section of the ship here to do sciencey things. One of the workshops.
You do have one workshop.
Yeah.
It is not, for people who are watching, it is not considered an expansion of the ship currently. But it is for roleplay purposes and anything. So he doesn't get any bonuses from it, but he still can use it for things. What are you doing in the workshop?
Well, the first thing I would do is lock the door, like just hit whatever chirpy chirps, so that I just don't want Wretch being able to come in, and I would assume anybody else on the ship would be able to just, put in their password or whatever and be able to come in. So I just want to do. And then I want to see if I can get the PCU to work again. I just want to see if I can get it to come on.
All right, so we'll come back to you. You start working on it.
Okay.
I will eventually want you to make... Actually, we'll go ahead and make the first of 3 rolls now. Go ahead and make a computer's check.
Computer's check, okay.
Hack it.
Computers, I get a +6 to that. That is a 5, so an 11 total.
You know that it was in water, and the battery emptied out and fried most of it, but you have other circuits you can use to fix it. So you're going to start rummaging around, and we'll come back to the other 2 checks in a minute.
Okay.
Captain Jin and Wretch, you guys get up to the galley, and Wretch sits you down. He goes, all right. Real talk, Captain. You didn't tell me there was going to be an android on this ship, but I appreciate that you do have one. Where is he from? Passenger. Hold up. Before you start talking, passenger. Your PCU goes off that that you're collecting data from Captain Jin. Do you want to use your bug on his PCU?
No, I'm focused on the task at hand.
All right, so you turn it off. All right. So
Captain, does it buffer? Does it like sit in a kind of like folder you can pull up later?
I haven't done anything with it that sophisticated.
No, he has done. It's just to listen in when he wants to listen in.
Yep.
Okay. So, Wretch said what he said.
Yes. We have an android on board. He's my science officer. I've got to say, I'm quite refreshed by your response to an android. Usually people are, I don't know, hateful towards him, really.
Well, I don't hate anybody that can make me money, so that's just my role.
True.
But I just want to say, when we get to Akiton, we're going to land in a city called Arl, A-R-L. We are then going to go from Arl, because you're going to have to land there. We can't land in the Ridgelands, but we're going to go meet my buyer in the Ridgelands. So it's going to be a several-hour, drive with a transport, with a planetary transport. You are welcome to come with me so that you can procure some more work. I know my buyer will have more work for you when we get there, but I just want to be clear. Your duty to me ends when we get to Arl, and you're welcome to continue to join me. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I was quite interested in what you had mentioned about this buyer having more work. Would I have to come alone with you?
No. I recommend bringing the whole crew.
Okay.
Because this buyer likes personal relationships quite a bit, and finds individuals to be very interesting to them. They will, they go by the name, hold on, I had a note for this. Where is my note? They go by the name of Vankot, V-A-N-K-O-T. Now, Vankot is very dangerous. Please be careful. But Vankot is very rich. One of the richer people on the current situation on Akaton, as you can probably guess. Not a lot of good things going on Akaton.
I'm familiar with the planet.
Yeah. So just so you know, if you do decide to check it out, I won't blame you once we get to Arl. But I would love to have you there, and maybe if we do run into trouble on Akaton and you guys are there to help make sure the little wretch doesn't get hurt, then maybe there's a little more money in it for you.
What time of day is it?
It's late. Like, he showed up pretty late. It's probably getting close to midnight.
Oh, okay. All right, so we have 1,500 credits worth of cargo on board. We have the client on board. All right. Jin is kind of like processing all of that. He's a very sharp individual, and he's sitting there and he's thinking, okay, I need to leave Castrovel. He looks at Wretch and he says, all right, I am very interested in meeting your Vancott. And he pulls out his phone and he's like just making quick notes. Vancott, city of Arl, passage to the Ridgelands, etc. And he's like, we'll travel with you there. You mentioned hazard pay. What are we talking about?
Well, I mean, if we run into something of serious danger, we have to run. I mean, I'm on your ship and you have all the guns. I mean, technically, you could take just my cargo and jettison me at any time. But
let me, all four hands do the like stop. He's like, stop. Let me stop you there. You are the client. You are on board. We are here at your service. And
you see him.
Your mic, Patrick.
You kind of see him sigh relief. Everything okay?
Test
received.
Okay.
Sound good now. It was going a little wonky.
Okay. On my end. He kind of has a sigh of relief. Well, buddy, how much do you charge for bodyguards? What is your going rate?
To meet with this Vancott on the planet Akaton after we land, and we have to get transport there. We'll be away from our ship in an area we're not familiar with. And Jin just kind of like continues on that path, like just like repeating the obvious questions, but his other two hands are texting Cryptus real quick, and he's like, "Hey, bodyguard fare, what do you think?"
And Cryptus is sort of ponders. He has like deep thoughts on bodyguard fees, and so he texts back, "Ask him level of risk of resistance anticipated."
He says that. I click the button to open a comms channel with Cryptus, like the current iPhone is like record your message or whatever, but I'm doing like the advanced space version of that, and I'm like, bodyguard fees, that would depend. Tell me on this Vancott. Who are you meeting? Who would we be escorting you to?
Well, Vancott is a Shurin host. They are very, very wealthy. Has a lot of Shabhad that guard them. I would say they are very dangerous. They're kind of more of a crime lord. So, I mean, they're the kind of no questions asked kind of person. If you're capable of that, so far so good, you should be all right. There shouldn't be any worry of danger. But it's the travel to and from where, you know, Akaton's kind of going through a economic downturn. People are kind of lashing out at one another. There's no solid government, no solid police force. There's no one there. So it's kind of like we got to defend ourselves.
I'm on the open channel, right, Jin?
Yeah, you are hearing everything. I like, you're hearing the open mic, And so is anyone else who might have access to that open mic. But you cannot broadcast to me.
So, I mean, I am not traveling from Arl to the Ridgelands by myself, period. But if I have to pay somebody, I mean, I'm already starting a relationship with you guys. You have a big trucks downstairs.
Oh, yes. Cryptus is his name. He is a decorated veteran of many conflicts. He's
yes, Mr. Wretch. We provide premier security services. Captain Jin has never died under my watch.
I look down at the message that's like text to speech because he's not broadcasting, but I'm getting the text to speech. I'm getting what he's saying. I'm like, we can provide premier bodyguard services here, and certainly Cryptus would be amongst them. I would accompany you myself. And don't discount the android or Rima. The android can surprise you, and Rima is the things I have seen her do, you would not believe.
Hey,
Bodyguard services, I would say.
So Cryptus is now suddenly has a thought, and he's yelling into his text-to-speech device, "Get ordnance reimbursement! Get ordnance reimbursement!"
And of course, as bodyguards, we would need the standard ordnance reimbursement. But I would say to meet with this Van Cott on Akaton, knowing the dangers that lie there, 2,000 credits. And this is when we start haggling.
2,000. Oh, well, I mean, if we're successful in getting there, and let's say we run into trouble, and you guys are like excellent at protecting me and all that, 2,000's a little low. I mean, I'd like to feel like you guys could come back and protect me going back too. Maybe for a third or fourth job at some point, because I just find the goods and procure my service, do my services for that good, and then I find people like you and most people aren't too willing to come back. So I would actually raise it to about 3,000 credits. Is that okay?
As he's saying that, Jin is walking to the cabinet, and Wretch doesn't know any of this because Jin has done such a good job of hiding it from everyone but the people he's lived with for the past 4 years. He doesn't know that the very last drop of liquor on the ship, Jin pours into 2 glasses, and he walks them back over to Wretch, and he says, 3,000. Well, my friend, I didn't want to take advantage of your situation, but I will certainly accept your generosity. 3,000 to escort you from the city of Arl to the Ridgelands to meet with Van Cott. Me and my crew will keep you safe. And he toasts Wretch.
He takes his hand, he toasts as well. Oh, there we go.
So Cryptus hears the toasting and he ponders not sending this text to speech, but then he's there. Captain, he thinks we're gonna fight so bad.
And
I text back, you seemed quite eager to do so. For 3,000 credits, you will. And I send, like, my lower hands are below the table, so Wretch shouldn't be able to see. But it's like, you will.
You see Wretch just down the whole thing real quick, and he kind of swallows hard and shakes his head. Oh, excellent. Excellent. I'm very tired. It's very late. Where am I rooming?
We're going to have you bunk with Rima. I hope that's acceptable. The ship is more cargo focused than passenger, but we do have a bunk there for you. And Rima has cleared out some space so that you may store your private items. And let me show you to your room. Passenger is the best science officer in this entire planet. He will have your PCU online in no time. And Jin kind of like gestures him out of the galley.
He walks down. He actually
Rimu's waiting outside when they come out to show him to the room.
And Rimu, what do you look like now?
Bald. everything but face and like hands has been shaved down. But like I'm wearing my my clothes, so like a little bit hard to tell. But like back at the head is all shaved. And...
Rima, I understand we're rooming together. And he gets
I didn't know you were bringing your own locker. I emptied mine out for you, but I guess.
Oh, I don't have a whole lot of stuff. Just the one.
Yeah.
I brought on me.
You're not a snorer, are you? It's a joke. It's fine. It's fine if you are. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go check on my box and then I'm gonna go right to sleep. So he goes down.
Yeah, it's the one just to the other side. I'd give him directions.
Okay, and he goes down. Cryptus, you see him look at the box. He looks at you, Cryptus, and then he turns off that little screen and then walks back. He goes back, and Rima, whenever he gets back to the room, he just goes straight to bed. He doesn't brush his teeth. He doesn't comb his hair. He doesn't do anything. He just lays on top of the sheets, like no blanket over him, just. And he's out.
Alrighty. If I've got a spare blanket, I drape it over him. If not, I just climb into my bunk and go to bed.
You drape it over him. He's on the top bunk. I would assume.
Okay. So. Okay. Yeah. Then I go to bed.
All right. Sleep.
I have one further thing I'd like to do before everyone retires. If that's okay. I mean, I've talked a lot, so if anyone else wants to do anything, I'm gonna stand down.
I'll do something after you.
I'm asleep.
PCU.
Okay. I want to, after I show Wretch, like down the hall to the right, whatever, to go with Rima, I go back into operations, because I assume that's where Passenger is. Are you in operations?
In the workshop. But I believe he explicitly said that he locked the door.
Oh, I look at the door, I look down, and I text Passenger, "It's Jin. I'm alone. Let's talk."
I'd get the message and open it up.
Okay.
Before you guys talk, Passenger, make the second computers check.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Oh, nat 20 plus
nat
6.
20? Wonderful. So you're going to go ahead and skip the next roll. So this is all you got to do. You do find spare parts from old PCUs that you guys have had before. You're able to replace them. Wretch's PCU is still going to maintain all its memory, and this is your chance to choose whether or not you want to bug his PCU.
Say that one more time.
This is your chance to bug his PCU without a check because you have it completely open to you.
I see. Definitely going to bug it.
It's bugged.
Can I pull any data off of it?
Oh, easily. You have complete access to it because you're literally got all the guts of it right there.
Yeah, I want to make backups of anything that would store data on this device.
Now, since you don't have root access to the phone, you can, if you want to hack it software-wise, what you can do is just clone its memory onto a different everything. Then you'll be able to hack that memory later.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so basically you just plug them up to a spare one you got, you clone the memory exact, basically like taking a snapshot. So anything he does later, you'll have to get through the bug you put in the phone.
Right.
But the anti-Patrick, that's funny. But yeah, so you're able to do that. And as you finish cloning that memory drive, Jin messages you and he walks in. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt roleplay, but I needed to make sure that we finished that.
Captain, I was able to access this individual's PCU.
Jin looks stern, but both of his arms kind of like steeple their hands, and he's like, I can't believe you've done that. What did you find?
What I've done is I've made it so that we can access it later, and then I've cloned it all down. So I haven't hacked the software portion of it yet, but future correspondences, I would imagine we would be able to receive.
Okay. I spoke with Wretch, and you said this is about like midnight.
It's getting very late. Like it's for this planet. Yeah, you're talking about 12:30 in the morning.
Okay. We need to leave as soon as possible. We have the client, we have our cargo, we have everything we need. But of course the crew needs to sleep. But passenger Rima was correct. Partly. She was only partially correct. Looking into this client is, of course, a safe idea. It is a good idea. And at this point, Jin is kind of like teaching passenger. He's like, all right, let me explain to you how to be a freebooter, basically. It's like, but relying upon the officials, relying upon the police, typing into your PCU, into the search engine to find out if your client is trustworthy or not, that's not the right way to go about it. But we have an amazing opportunity here. I think I've disarmed Wretch. I think I've convinced him that we are on his side. He has offered me another 3,000 credits once we arrive on Ekaton to escort him to meet with his buyer. So I think he might trust us. And that means, passenger, and at this point, tell no one else about this conversation. Delete it from your memory banks. It is for you only. Hack his PCU. I want to know everything we can know available to us. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Once you are done, head up to... And Jin is like, he kind of catches himself. He's like, oh, duh, the terminal's right over there. And he points to the terminal for the sensor control, and he's like, plot me every Fomorian battleship, every Lashunta satellite that will pass overhead. I want to know when the shields will come online, when they will fall, and when we can leave. I want to leave as soon as possible in the morning. Can you do that for me?
Done.
So, you done, Patrick?
Yeah, that's me asking passenger a question.
Yeah.
Passenger nodded.
So while y'all are having that comment, towards the tail end of it, you sort of hear the telltale footsteps of Cryptus coming to you. And he steps into operations and he kind of leans in conspiratorially, although he doesn't really know how to whisper. He's like, Captain, there's a monitoring device on the package Mr. Wretch brought. Also, he definitely expects organized resistance. We're going in hot.
Does it look like the monitoring device was put there by Wretch or by someone else? Cryptus.
That guy? No way.
Okay.
It's fancy.
Cryptus, you have some piles of... excuse me. You have some half-built projects laying
I have a
around the
collection,
cargo hold.
yes.
Yes. Do you think you could create a Faraday cage to put around his cargo?
Sure. I just have
Block
to...
the signals.
I can work on it with passenger. A little of my, aggressive maintenance style with passengers know-how.
Okay. Do that first. I don't want those signals going out anywhere else. And then hide his cargo. Stow it in the... Now that I think about it, I believe the pantry actually has enough space. I'm afraid the pantry is empty. Stow it in the pantry after you get the Faraday cage online. Understood?
Aye, Captain.
Good. I'm going to go to bed. If anything happens, message me. But passenger, you have your orders. Cryptus, you have your orders. And Jen walks out.
It's just Cryptus and Passenger in the room together now. Now, just to clarify, Cryptus, they were not in operations. They were in the workshop.
Oh, sorry, workshop.
But I assume you went inside.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just want to make sure the viewership knows workshop's not.
Cryptus looks at Passenger very seriously and says, "What's a Faraday cage?"
Right. Let's do that first, and I will explain to him. I assume I know what a Faraday cage is. Just
My assumption, because I think Patrick, the player, was the only one here that knew what it was, is something to jam any signal from getting out from the cage. That's what my assumption is.
No, I'm asking if Passenger knows, but yeah, I would explain it to you. I explained that this is a device that will keep signals from escaping a source. I can hack this device later. We should probably get started on that.
Aye. So I'll lead him to where the device is, and I'm very cautious to not touch any of the mechanics on the front of this device. I say, Wretch, Mr. Wretch turned it off. He came in here before going to bed, turned off the monitoring.
I would say I'm going to take a look at it and see, get a mental note, I guess, of like what type of dimensions I would need to build this at. Mm-hmm. And probably once I have a good notion of that, I'd probably head back to the workshop and attempt to build a Faraday cage that would secure. I'd want to build something relative. We're putting it inside of this pantry, so I want to try and keep it kind of a low profile sort of a thing. So yeah, that's what I would try and do. I'd try and keep it as close to the specs of the package itself.
And I would love to aid him with engineering if it's allowed.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. Passenger, you can go ahead and design it. Cryptus, you can go ahead and be the one that puts it together. I guess from help, I think let's go ahead and say, Cryptus, you'll make the engineering role, but I want Passenger to give you his computers bonus on top of that.
Well,
you're going to do all your engineering, but with Passenger's computers bonus.
Is this something we would be able to take 10 on if we have the time?
Yeah, you can take 10 on that, or take 20 if you need to.
If we're going to dedicate some time to it, I would just say let's just take 20.
Yeah, let's take 20 then.
I forget that.
If we can, as Jin walks to his quarters, he's going to say, "Look, work through the night if you have to. Work a double. Whatever."
Aye, Captain.
All right, so you guys take the time. You build the Faraday cage. You put it on there. You put it in the pantry. Passenger, I assume that's going to take you guys a couple of hours. Passenger, I assume you have a couple of other tasks you want to do. You wanted to both get all the information you can from the orbit of Castrovel and get that cloned drive hacked.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to build out a full basically presentation, a briefing document, if you will, to present to Captain Jin. All
right, so you also get a whole slideshow presentation ready for Captain Jin.
I don't know if I would have gone that far, but sure. As long as it's a hologram.
Slide hologram show.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would want it to pop, I'd want the hologram to kind of come out and just be like this 360 view of the planet, and I would have it set up so that all of the things that are in like synchronous orbit are showing, and I'd have it on like a time lapse so that you could see the shield zoop, zoop.
Well, the shield only goes over the city, so.
Oh, you'd see it go zoop, zoop.
Little tiny. All right. So, we are at about the 2-hour mark. I'm perfectly fine going for 1 more hour. How about the players?
I'd love to get off planet.
All right. I got 3 yeses. Ashley, how are you feeling?
Sure.
All right. That's 4 yeses. We will continue for 1 more hour, then I'll put the hard stop down. All right. So, Cryptus, you'll get about you will have the time to get about 4 hours of sleep if you want to take it.
So I stay with passenger unless passenger explicitly tells me to go away. Captain's orders.
I would excuse you. I would at the very least give you the option of being excused when we finish the Faraday cage.
If he excuses me and I stomp back up to my room.
Do you care to watch me hack into this computer?
If you need security. I'll stand outside the workshop, passenger, and guard. Sentry duty. I'm used to that.
On your way to bed, would you just do a patrol down Wretch's hallway? Make sure... Don't open the door, but make sure it seems like he's still there.
So I'll stomp my way, as usual, to Rima's room, and I'll put my big, meaty bug body against the door, and do I hear Wretch in there?
You hear a really high-pitched but loud snoring that has never been there before. Like, you know that's not Rima.
I sort of giggle to myself in like bug, and...
Yeah, like if you've ever heard a baby snore, that's kind of, but it's loud. Let's put it that way.
Yep. So I do my patrol route, and then I'll actually just stand outside the workshop, just conscious of keeping prying eyes away from passenger.
All right.
I would say, can I do the take 10 or take 20 on hacking as well if I'm working
for
the night?
It takes you some time.
How does exhaustion work in Starfinder? Like we went all day, all morning, all afternoon, and now we're working through the night. How does exhaustion work?
You're an android. I don't think it applies too terribly much to you.
All right.
Is my understanding. Someone in chat.
The only thing I've got is androids constructed for effects targeting creatures with this type. Androids count as both human and construct, whichever effect is worse. So basically, I get all the negatives without any of the positives. They receive a +2. Which one is mine? See, unless affected. It doesn't say anything about like not having to sleep. I am still a biological creature.
Okay.
He's got to put himself on to charge.
Yeah. So I will say at working through the night, it is difficult. You do feel sleepy. And the next day, you'll start taking you'll take a -2 bonus to skill checks for now, just because you're starting to get a little sleepy. So, morning comes. You've taken your 20 on both of those. I will get you information at a later time, but what is in Wretch's, because you're gonna have to take you actually got access to that drive, but you're gonna have to take time to actually like go through it. What's important, what's garbage. You know, it's gonna take you a long time to go through someone's like text messaging, emails, and contact info, all that.
As a point of order, I would have also wanted to reassemble the phone and make sure it looked pristine. I would be as meticulous putting it back together. I would want it to look as close to new as possible.
And you did. Cool. You did that with that net 20. So, morning comes. Anybody have an alarm or anything they want to?
Can I just say, Patrick flexing 1 cat was already too much, but flexing 2 is just way too baller of a move.
My cats too. What the hell? Give me my cats back.
You should have flexed them.
It's a cat-eat-dog world, apparently.
So rude. Yeah, Rima's always the first one up, making sure there's coffee ready for the captain.
When you get up,
oh yes,
the passenger is still awake.
Is Wretch still? Does Wretch sleep through my alarm?
Oh yeah, he is out.
All right, I'll get a scrap piece of paper and like write a note saying coffee in the galley or whatever when he wakes up.
You put it like on top of his head.
No, I'd leave it like I leave it on a surface. I don't put it on his face.
Gotcha. Okay, put it somewhere where he can get it.
Yeah, somewhere he's gonna see it, and then go make coffee.
All right.
Yeah, there's like a passageway that leads forward into the operations, but also the stairs leading up to the galley. So
Yeah, it's on screen.
yeah,
Right over. Let's see, where am I at? Right over there, I think.
yeah.
Nope, I put it the wrong way. There we go. Yeah. So, yeah, that way. All right. So you go up there, you make coffee. You notice that passenger's still awake. Whenever people want to wake up, they can. Cryptus, were you still up?
Yep, I was standing sentry at the door. Rima chose not to acknowledge me, but once.
It's too early, man.
So the first time I lay eyes on Rima, it is the loudest laugh y'all have ever heard.
You
like
saw
just
me.
this. Did I see you the night before?
Yeah, you did. I was down in the cargo hold shaving.
Oh, then
No, I'm saying he didn't. Cryptus was too focused on his idea. He did not see you. This is the first time he's seen you.
I am now processing what you have done to yourself, and it is a righteous laugh. And like all four, like the bottom two hands are clapping, the top two hands are like holding his chest. He's just howling with laughter at you.
You'll hear a thud as Jin falls out of his bunk, opens the door. He's like holding his scarf over, like, for modesty or whatever. He's got a gun out. He's like, "What happened?"
A scarf.
Captain Jin goes for his scarf and his gun in an emergency. Both prepared and bougie all at once.
Yep.
And Cryptus is just still dying, but he kind of just mutters out. He's like, "Watch out, Captain! It's a live tardigrade."
Rima didn't even stop. Like, she's not psychically connected to Cryptus.
He doesn't hear any of it.
Yeah, no, she kept going.
I like to think you can feel like vibrations in the ship.
All right, so everyone's awake except for Wretch. Passenger. You know that you have about 45 minutes until the shield is down, and that there is a very small hole in the rotation that you will be able to launch and get through, where you will not be in range of the Formian satellites, and you'll be launching from a Lashuntan city, so you'll be close to the Lashuntan satellites, but it shouldn't be a big deal. There's like a civilian hole that you can get out with.
I would express all of that information to Captain Jin, regardless of his mental acuity, having just woken up. I'm not sure what state I would catch him in and how many cups of coffee he'd be down, but I would be very eager to share my findings with him, regardless.
So, do you give that in hologram presentation form?
Oh, immediately.
And I type back 45 minutes, launch. I'll be there.
All right. So your size category 1, it'll take about a minute to start up your thrusters. It'll take 2 hours to get into orbit.
Jin kind of like stumbles out of his room and he's like, "Bring me coffee. I'll get us off planet."
Rima's got a cup waiting for him.
Rima, thank the gods for you. Passenger, get us a launch clearance from the Shunta Command. Cryptus, get to the engineering. Make sure nothing happens.
Aye.
Wretch to his room. Everything's stowed, right?
Cryptus.
As you requested, boss.
Okay, I'll pull up my PCU and request launch clearance. Shouldn't take too long. And he's like very pointedly like slamming his finger into his PCU.
Captain, I'll take care of that. You just finish your coffee.
Oh,
I pull out
thank you.
my PCU.
Thank you, passenger. Your soul is as
Docking services. This is the Joe Lynn. We're looking to take off in 45 minutes. Do we have clearance?
It takes a minute for them to get back to you, passenger, but they
a minute. A minute. I say it again.
Okay. They do get back to you eventually. It takes a few times of you trying to hail them. They say, sorry for the delay. 45 minutes. You should be able to launch. Air traffic should be clear in Kabarat. We will make sure not to shoot you down. Just make sure you're not engaging any sort of stealth systems and that you are continuing to maintain a hailing frequency with us.
Can do.
Passenger is like double fisting cups of coffee, and as he chugs the second one, I'm sorry, gin.
I'm like, I
am. as passenger gets that message, Jin is like, whoo! All right, passenger, get the clearance. I'm heading to the bridge. And he like
the clearance,
runs into the bridge, hops into his seat, and immediately starts turning on all the engines and disabling the mag locks and getting the hydraulics ready to go.
Piloting check.
Oh,
Absolutely.
God, here it comes. Here it comes. We all want you to roll in that one. You know that,
Rima
right?
turns off the coffee machine and takes the last cup, empties out all the coffee, takes the last cup back to her room for Wretch.
Wait, hold on before you roll.
Before I roll.
There we go. Just pulling it over so we... Oh, hold on. Wait a second. Because I assume
what do I do?
I'm assuming you're going to use roll 20, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure we can see the chat log.
All right. This is going to be...
It's going to be a 1.
+8. 1 + 8. That's going to be a 9.
Hey!
19 + 8, 27. Yeah. Jen fucking throws it into max thrust. Like as soon as
you
the
didn't
doors.
nat 20. Calm down.
As soon as the doors to the hangar open.
This is a natural 20.
All right.
Let him have his moment of cool.
All right.
He doesn't get them often.
You perfectly lift off, launch. Everyone that needed to strapped in. Passenger, I do need you to make a computers check to make sure that you maintain the shielding correct. And Cryptus, I need an engineering check to make sure that there's no funny business, but it's a really low DC. Captain Jin got a really high roll. We just want to make sure that everyone has a chance to help with the launch.
And what was the check I'm making?
Computers. You're at your station maintaining the shields to prevent heat from damaging the ship.
Total of 15.
15, very simple. You very methodically and meticulously keep the shields perfect. Even when you move the shields, even when you didn't need to in certain occasions, but you did it anyway. Cryptus, engineering.
16, 13 + 3.
All right, perfect. You everything's running perfectly. You don't actually have to do anything. You're just monitoring pretty well. Rima, during launch, I assume you're strapped in somewhere?
Yeah, I assume our rooms are set up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have gone back and woken Wretch up and given him the coffee I brought him and said, you need to strap in. And then
he wakes up, he takes it, he just kind of like very groggily, like, ugh. All right. And when you launch, he spills all the coffee on himself. So you guys get past the satellites and you're now in system. So let me move this to where I need to be. All right, so it has taken you, let's see, it takes about, to reach satellite, about, I need Patrick, since you're the pilot, to roll a D8 for me.
What time would you say we took off? I'm sorry.
Like 8 a.m., almost on the dot.
Okay.
Like you were launching, and like as you launched, the shield was going away.
Okay, and what'd you need from me?
Just roll a D8.
D8.
Just a D8 flat. 3. All right, so it's going to take you about 3 hours to get past the satellites. I also need you to roll a 1d6 plus 2.
Seven.
All right. So do you see the map currently?
Yes.
All right. So are you going to travel through that CW on Castrovel or that CE? Which direction do you want to go? Because you're going to have to plan your route. And that first roll means you're going to be taking about 7 days to get through that first system of space travel.
Okay.
And then you're going to be able to roll that again for the next area. So let's say you went to CW, it's 7 days to get through CW. Then you're going to roll again to go to like B8. Then it's going to be that many days, and then B7, then that many days, and then finally you get to Akaton.
So,
that's the route.
Before you jump, Captain, I have a D4 from last session on an engineering check to reduce the days.
We're going to go ahead and do Cryptus's D4. And we're going to go through CW.
All right.
6 days.
So 6 days. Cool. So it's going to take you guys 6 days. You just started the jump. Your warp drives engage, and you guys are gone.
All right.
Anything you guys want to do on this first day of travel?
So it's 6 days.
I apologize to Wretch for the coffee and point him towards the bathroom and let him know there'll be a fresh pot waiting for him when he's done.
Oh,
I kind of have a meta question, but I want you to do that first. I'm sorry.
He said, thank you, Rima. You're a wonderful gal. Thank you. And he goes in, he cleans himself up for probably the first time in his life. And he comes back with a cup of coffee. And he actually doesn't come back to the room. He actually goes.
I'd be up in the galley.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
yeah,
So he actually goes around in the cargo hold. And you see him like looking where his box was. Hey, Rima.
Yep.
Where's my package? And he kind of gets this look of panic.
I call Cryptus. Hey, Cryptus. Need you down in the
ventral cargo bay?
Yeah, in the cargo bay.
Cryptus doesn't reply, but you hear stomping making its way towards you.
Cryptus, where's my box, man? The whole reason I'm here.
It's okay, Mr. Wretch.
Cup and the coffee is just like flying out of the mug.
We put it in a secure place. We were concerned about anybody boarding us during the exit.
Well, I would like to know where it is.
So I'll actually just take him and I'll show him where it's hidden in the pantry.
Okay, cool. I see you put a little bigger box around it or something.
We were very conscious of anybody attempting to board us for more unexpected Fomorians and whatnot. You know how that goes.
Yeah. Of course I do.
Captain has foresight on these things.
The rare Patrick.
Why does Ashley have a cat? I want a cat.
Flexing back. That's why.
So while they're in the pantry, I would probably have come up behind them at this point. And Mr. Wretch, is it?
Yes.
I believe this is yours. I show him his PCU.
And he takes it and he turns it on. He goes, wow, good as new. You're a real pal.
I have a very important question. What shoe? I would be looking. I wouldn't ask him. So this is just a description question. Which shoes are he wearing?
He's actually wearing 2 different shoes, not the same.
So of the 2 that he chose, is there was I think it was a size 7, an 8, and a 9. If he's wearing 2 different shoes, well,
he's wearing the 7 and the 9. 7 left, 9 right.
Was your suit to your liking?
He's actually wearing like a combination of what you bought. He goes, oh yeah, they're all perfect.
They're mismatched?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
They're
Come
not
with
perfect.
me.
He just looks at you confused.
You have the wrong top with the wrong pants, and your shoes don't match.
Oh, you're not one of them. All
I like to imagine Passenger has like some kind of like how to blend in with culture or like how to fit in module, and Wretch is not fitting any of it.
He bathed.
By force.
Come with me now, please.
But we're having breakfast.
You can have breakfast when you're correct.
How am I wrong?
You have the wrong top with the wrong pants.
Passenger, I'll take care of it later.
The shoes are not even the right.
Yeah, look, he might have 2 different size feet. It's cool. Just let us eat and stop beeping. I can hear your cogs getting all like jammed up.
I turn in an android huff. Like whatever a huff from an android would look like is what happens. And yeah, that's it. I leave him with his PCU and I head down to I head to wherever Captain Jin is. Like I assume
when Passenger walks out, I tell Wretch, you gotta convince him that it's just a Isoki thing. If you can convince him that anything you do is just an Isoki thing, he's cool with it.
All right.
Yeah, but come on.
It's a little weird, but
it sure is. Yep. Let's eat.
Okay.
I have a quick meta question, if that's okay.
Shoot.
So we spent 1,500 of the 5,000 credits on booze.
Mm-hmm.
And did we say that it's okay that I could like call up Amazon or whatever, like Space Amazon, to spend the 1,052 credits on the emergency supplies and the food?
Yeah.
Did we do that?
Yeah, that's what I understood it as. You guys.
Okay, perfect. I want to just write that down. So that means that at some point, probably shortly after leaving the planet's gravity well, Jin would kind of lock in a looking at this map, it's hard to tell, like, does the wormholes or gateways exist at the red lines or in the middle of the areas? Whatever the case may be, Jin would say, look, I've locked in a horse. Let's have a crew meal in the galley at 1,300 hours or whatever. And as we do that, he would say, hey everyone, I know we've been kind of subsisting at this point. We've just been surviving, but thanks to our client, and I don't think I would have invited Retsk to this, so whenever we want to put this in, I would just say, thanks to our client's payment, we finally have real food to eat. It's not R2Es, it's not rations.
So I'm gonna stop you right quick. So you're gonna do this around the lunchtime of today?
Yes.
So you guys are all gonna sit down. You're gonna give them the little speech. I'm gonna take a quick bio break. Why don't you tell that little story? Wretch will. He's actually gonna be. Where he goes. He goes out to like the cargo bay. Actually, no. I'm gonna go ahead and say. I'm gonna make a quick roll. Oh yeah. You don't know where he goes. He's gone. That was a. Do you guys see my roll?
29.
Yes,
Damn,
the 29. Just the nat 20.
Yeah, he is. But you guys aren't aware of it. You guys aren't concerned by it. But you're gonna go upstairs and meet for a quick little lunch, an actual meal. You're gonna give a little speech. You guys are gonna have a role play moment. I'm gonna take a quick bio break. Continue on.
Okay, perfect. So lunchtime, Jin has left the pilot controls where he's like, shifting the thrust all the way to full and then pulling it back and like moving the
this is a wonderful
sticks
speech
around. Yeah. So we get to the mess hall, the galley or whatever. He's like, look, he raises a kind of like a toast, but it's like just water. And he's like, look, we've been through a lot. We've been stuck on Castrovel for 4 weeks. But thanks to Wretch, we have finally left Castrovel. And he pauses, kind of waiting for like applause or someone else to like, you know, raise their glass in a salute kind of thing. And Cryptus, I assume you're my guy.
Cryptus watches you for a minute and then like in like realizes that you're looking for someone to. So yeah, Cryptus will then like, raises his glass.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a toast.
Yes. So we toast leaving Castrovel. Because Jin is on freaking cloud 9. You guys, you don't recognize the Captain Jin. He's energetic. He's cloud 9. He's optimistic. He's like, we're leaving Castrovel. We're on my ship. We're flying through space. We have a client. We have a mission. This is perfect.
All right, Captain.
Yeah, so he's kind of like, look, this meal, it's not the best, but it is better than ready to eats. So I hope you all dig in. I hope you all ask for seconds, because we are celebrating the turn of our fortune. This is to you. He says that and he raises his glass again to toast his crew. And when you toast with him, he chugs his entire glass
of water.
And he puts it down. He's like, I couldn't ask for a better crew. I couldn't ask for a better science officer to keep our ship communicating with us and communicating with everyone else around us in the perfect efficiency. And he says that word kind of like looking into passenger's soul. And he looks at Rima and he says, I couldn't ask for a better grasp on what this crew needs and what we need as a ship than what you have given us. And he salutes Rima. And then he looks at Cryptus and he says, there are a dozen worlds that would see you as inferior to the robotic, to the droid,
Just
to
a
the
dozen?
machines, to the machine's ability to replace what you can bring to this table. I wouldn't take a single one of their cogs over your ability. And he salutes Cryptus as well.
And Cryptus is like, Cryptus's lower hands smash on the table. He takes his right hand and he grabs passenger, and with his left hand he raises his gun. To the captain! The captain pays us! Ah!
and Jin salutes with you, and he whatever is in his glass, he chugs it. Unfortunately, Patrick's glass is empty. But he makes it clear that not only what passenger has seen with hacking into his PCU, with seeing the captain sleep in both days, which is completely out of character for the past 4 weeks, but seeing how Jin has looked at Cryptus's ability to move cargo on board and keep the ship safe, to Rima's ability to understand how everyone interacts with each other, Jin couldn't be more proud. And I think all three of you pick up on that. He is proud of what you're doing.
To the captain.
He salutes.
Woo!
Thank goodness we don't have any alcohol. Other than the product in the cargo bay.
I think that speech is a product of Patrick's third tequila, or is it fourth?
Patrick's or gin?
Patrick.
He's role playing.
Method actor.
As that ends, Rima, you smell the equivalent. You smell cigar smoke.
Someone's smoking. Wretch!
Yeah. And you hear these little tiny footsteps come up. Passenger, you notice Wretch has not changed. But he comes up and out. Now everyone can smell it. He smells like cigar smoke.
Wretch, I'm sorry. There's no smoking on board. That's fire in space isn't.
Rima. And Jin reaches out two hands towards Rima to like calm her down. And he looks at Wretch and he says, "This is the start of a business, isn't it, Wretch?"
Yeah.
It is.
Would you all
have
celebratory? He pulls out a whole like.
Oh yes. He pulls out and Wretch reaches forward, or Jin reaches forward.
Captain, we're in space.
Rima,
we can't be having fire of any kind.
We have good oxygen filters.
Upon you saying we have good oxygen filters, Cryptus starts to look a little nervous. Captain, I hate to say it, but Rima might be right. We should be cautious.
We'll have the celebratory cigar when we land. How about that? It's just not safe.
At that, Jin walks out of I guess we're in the galley or the operations, like whatever big room we're in. He walks down to where he's stowed the emergency supplies, grabs an oxygen candle and walks back to the crew, lights the oxygen candle and says, "We're smoking to our good fortune."
Captain, oxygen is very flammable. Put that out. What are you doing?
This is not like the real world spaceships. This is science fiction, science fantasy. You guys, they have figured out a way to have smoking space vessels.
Yes, they have.
You guys are fine. Although, throughout the day, as everyone leaves this event, you notice that one of the hatches to the escape pods have been opened, and someone had put out a cigar into the seat of one of the escape pods.
Someone defaced my escape. All right, writing that down. So cool. We are in space. We are in CW. Justin, is the star map still on Twitch?
Should be.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we're in CW. It's the area around Castrovel. Mm-hmm. Jin wants to like as much thrust as we can put into it without like killing anyone.
Well, it's still going to take 6 days just from your route.
Okay.
So that was I'll say that was day 1. Unless there's anything else someone wants to do today.
We have 100 bulk of cargo, right?
Yeah.
And that's in the ventral cargo hold. How much would you say that fills up the ventral hold? Is that like a third, a fourth of the
definitely
space?
Load it to the brim, if that's what you're asking. You definitely got maybe a third. I wouldn't even say it was a third, but you definitely filled up quite a bit of cargo. I mean, you could probably still fit, 4 times as much and maybe a vehicle in there if you wanted to.
Okay.
This is a cargo.
Jin, so. At the start of the second day, Jin will message Cryptus to meet him in the ventral cargo. I'm sorry.
So I'm still on the first day.
Oh.
Anything you want to do today?
Rima's gonna ask Wretch if he knows how to play poker.
Oh, I'm the best at poker. And he gets a big grin on his face. I'm the best. You don't want to play me.
Oh, come on. We got plenty of time. Let's play.
We'll play tomorrow. I want to play the person a little bit more today.
All right. I'll hold you to that. Cryptus, you up for a game?
He thinks about it for a little bit. I think I'll take you on. It's like some light PvP.
Well, that'd be bluff versus sense motive throughout the entire game. I don't know. I'll come up with a way for you guys to play poker. Maybe we can just actually play poker.
That'd be fun. That'd be
I'll
very
live
fun.
stream that.
I need to go learn how to play poker now.
Oh,
This is now a poker channel.
We're now gonna play poker on their stream. So just wait for Patrick to get back before I move on to the next thing.
Ooh, my bluff is -3.
You guys roll right quick. I need to do a thing for my wife. It'll take me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
I would imagine passenger throughout the day is probably straightening. Like it's been a while since the ship has moved this much, so he's probably just making sure his room is in order, and he'd probably spend most of the time hunkered away in there going through the files that are in the drive that he got from Wretch.
You're very quiet, Justin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Justin,
Also, we never cleaned up the vomit, so there's also that.
I was outside.
I'm sure
You know,
it was definitely on the dock, but I'm sure
it's like dripping water.
I'm sure Passenger would have cleaned that up anyway.
I could have taken 2 seconds to hose it.
Oh, Remus was out on the docks. Captain Jins was definitely inside the ship.
In the ship. All right. So Patrick is back. All right. So at the end of the first day, everyone retires to bed. Wretch goes to bed super late. He's like stays up playing little games on his PCU. He just kind of putzing around. He makes a couple more visits to the escape pod and then back, reeking of smoke. So everyone goes to sleep. Rima,
Yeah.
in the middle of the night, you hear, not through your mind, but with your ears, footsteps in your room. Your eyes are still closed right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Whoever you are, can this wait till morning?
And then you hear a voice. Oh, hello? It's a woman's voice.
I open my eyes.
You see in front of your closet, a Lashuntan android looking at you.
Ghost-like or like physical?
She looks real.
Looks real, okay.
What, would you like anything? She says. And then you blink, and then it looks like you're in like just a normal bar. What do you do?
So I'm like sitting at a bar.
Yep, you're just like you sit up,
Okay.
blink, and then like it looks like it feels and looks like everything is like as if you're sitting at a bar.
So she like behind the bar like a bartender or sitting there
Now
with
she's
me?
now she's sitting like a bartender. Her attire has changed, and she's very clean. She has the greenish little glow of a android, but she is in the shape of a Lashunta. Very, very like she was recently made. Everything about her doesn't look aged at all. All parts new. She's got, she actually wears like a suit as a bartender. And her hair is like, she actually has like a wig or something on that like gives her like long black hair.
So
What are you doing here? She says.
What are you doing here?
This is where where I work. And as she speaks, her eyes start to like droop down a little bit. And like you start to see like a surgical scar form around her head. And she doesn't seem to notice it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. How long have you worked here?
My whole life. I've been here about 6 months.
Cool. Yeah. You ever
And that same scar starts to form all the way around her skull right here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You ever see a Isoki named Wretch come through here?
As soon as you say that, like she just like falls over, her head hits the table, and her head actually like that surgical scar breaks, and like that top part of her head just like falls straight forward, and you wake up in your bed.
Yep.
We will end tonight there.
I hope y'all heard the like revving of an engine outside. It was perfectly timed.
I didn't hear the revving.
Oh, it's amazing.
But that is where we will stop tonight's session. Is Remo waking up from that vision?
Wow, that was a good vision.
That was a creepy vision. Yeah.
Yep.
We've left Castrovel. We have
free.
We have our client. We have our cargo. Jen is ecstatic.
All right. Well, thank you guys, everyone, for joining us. Elwing, it's always good to have you in chat, man. All the other viewers, thank you so much for joining us. We went a little longer today. That's perfectly fine. We got a lot done. We got some roleplay done, and I'm excited for our next session, hopefully.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Next Saturday, right?
Next Saturday, hopefully around the same time. I'm free, definitely, and I'm hoping to DM for that session.
Oh, yeah. I'll be 6 o'clock, 6:30.
GM, yes. I'm looking for the 6 o'clock slot. If we have to delay because people are doing dinner and stuff, I'm fine with that as well.
Well, hopefully not, but yeah. All right, guys, that was fun. We've left the planet of Castrovel. We're on our way.
I'll say I just dropped a few screen grabs from throughout the episode in the Starfinder chat so that we can maybe get a couple of new emotes. I was just trying to keep an eye out for it.
We have a rare Patrick. That's the rare Patrick right there.
So good times.
We got upset Creed and disgusted Ashley.
That's a great Ashley face.
Where? What channel is this in?
This is in the
Starfinder Discord. You can find the link to our Discord below on Twitch. We try and post memes live as we play, or random screenshots to become emotes, potentially. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. This has been great. I'm gonna kill the stream now. So bye, everybody. Love you.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have been great.
As
Thanks for
Kazir,
tuning in.
Episode 9, the 28th of this month, and then next week, Saturday, 6 o'clock, another Starfinder.
Thank you for being here. This concludes this show on the Into the Dungeon Network. If you enjoyed your time here, please like, subscribe, or tell your friends. Thank you.